Good morning, everyone. I am your host, Casey Phoenix. As you probably already know, this is the supplement to the Purple Elephant Show, my morning political thought, or my political thought, a morning political thought, whatever you want to call it. I do this daily now, in addition to the Purple Elephant Show that happens on the weekend, because the Purple Elephant Show is a weekend show. ThePurpleElephantShow.com for the main podcasting platform. As for this, the reason I'm doing this episode is because of an interview I watched last night. I actually watched two interviews last night. I watched an interview with President Trump and Mike Huckabee, and then also I watched an interview with President Trump and Steve Hilton. And my suspicions were correct after the Mike Huckabee interview. The Trump campaign just recently released their agenda for President Trump's second term. And I knew something was up with China, which I know President Trump has been upset about China, as he should be, as we all should be upset about China. But something happened during the Mike Huckabee interview that really made me take note. But first, I want to read from my other phone the agenda when it comes to ending our reliance on China. For those who may not know what the agenda is, because I'm sure some people probably haven't read it yet or seen it yet or heard it yet. But on ending our reliance from China, in its bullet point one, bring back 1 million manufacturing jobs from China. Next, tax credits for companies that bring back jobs from China. Because as some people may already know, companies were receiving tax credits to send jobs overseas. Why Congress passed that and why a president would sign something like that to send American jobs overseas is beyond my comprehension, but whatever. Allow 100% expensing deductions for essential industries like pharmaceuticals and robotics to bring back their manufacturing to the United States. Obviously, that's in there because over 80% of the ingredients that go into antibiotics are made in China. So when all of this craziness was happening, that was one of the things that China loosely brought up. It was more of it wasn't a direct threat, but they brought it to our attention like, hey, we make the ingredients for your antibiotics. Do you really want to make us upset? And that's a huge deal. How America ever found itself in that position in the first place is crazy. But that's why he's specifically working on the expensing deductions and letting it be 100% expensing deductions for essential industries like pharmaceuticals and robotics to bring their manufacturing back to the United States. This is the decoupling process. Next one, no federal contracts for employees who outsource to China. Very reasonable. And then the final bullet point, hold China fully accountable for allowing the virus to spread around the world. I mentioned this before about China more than once in some of my other episodes on the Purple Elephant Show. For those who may not know, if you've been living under a rock, China, when they knew the virus was spreading out of Wuhan, they closed down all of the flights from Wuhan to other parts of China. But they allowed flights from Wuhan to the rest of the world. So again, they closed down flights from Wuhan, where the virus originated, and they closed down those flights to keep people from flying, like from Wuhan to Beijing or Wuhan to Shanghai or Wuhan to whatever, or, to Hong Kong, but maybe they might have wanted to go to Hong Kong because we know that situation. But they closed it down internally. But when it comes to flights from Wuhan to Italy, or Wuhan to the United States, or Wuhan to Australia, or Wuhan to Spain, or wherever, those flights were fine with China. China was like, okay, well, we're going to try and contain this within China, but the rest of the world, they can go ahead and get it. That is why President Trump is livid, as a lot of people are livid. And the thing about it was, and even when he just had a discussion with Steve Hilton, when China was brought up, President Trump was saying, hey, it's kind of inappropriate to discuss this right now because he didn't really want to go into it. If you have a chance, check out the interview with Steve Hilton, Steve Hilton's Next Revolution. But the statement that President Trump said with the Mike Huckabee interview, if you get a chance, make sure you watch the Mike Huckabee interview. President Trump said, pretty much, we were doing fine before the virus came in. And he was talking about China. And then it was a throwaway line. It wasn't in Trump style when he said this. He said, and they will pay for that. He said it so calmly, like a throwaway line. Like, hi, how you doing? You know, welcome, whatever. Because of those who follow President Trump, those who know his style, he didn't do it in the usual Trump way. And in my opinion, that's what makes it more ominous. Because he was like, and they will pay for that. And I don't even think he caught it when he said that. The bullet points that I just mentioned in regards to the second agenda, in regards to his agenda for his second term, that's just the beginning. Because this will possibly, I don't know, he might get a third or a fourth term, who knows. But with this second term more than likely being his last term, I have a feeling the gloves will come off. And anybody who knows President Trump knows he's not an idiot. He will not show his hand. So those little bullet points, I feel out of what he really plans to do to China, that's like 15 to 20%. The other 80 to 85% that he plans to do, he hasn't told anybody, except maybe one or two people that he really, really trusts. I honestly believe that because of the way he said what he said during that Mike Huckabee interview, and you have to check it out so you can see what I'm talking about. He said, the way he said it, and they will pay for that. It was so calm. It was like, I'm looking for the best way to articulate this. It's almost like as a matter of fact. Like, they don't know what's in store for them, but they will feel the pain. That, because he was so calm, it wasn't in the Trump type delivery, the usual Trump delivery. That's why I honestly believe in his second term, the gloves are about to come off. And China will not know what hit them. Now, whether the rest of the Republicans will back him, that's going to be the question. Will the rest of the Republicans back him when he gets ready to do whatever he's going to do? Because like I said before, those bullet points that I just read off, that's just the tip of the iceberg. He's keeping his cards close to his vest. He has plans for China. Make no mistake. After that statement on Mike Huckabee, I mentioned it before, I'm very intuitive. And I just have a feeling. He's got plans for China. Like real plans for China. Not that little stuff that he put on for the second agenda. That's just, you have to put out something, so that's what we're putting out. But what he really plans to do to China, that's not on there. And that throwaway statement that he said, and they will pay for that. Check out the interview. You'll see what I'm talking about. Anyways, Thank you again for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you to those who have been listening to the podcast. It really means a lot to me. The daily or my political thought will continue throughout this week. And of course, the Purple Elephant Show will continue this weekend. I don't know what I will talk about this weekend, but with everything happening, I'm sure something will come up. If you haven't listened to any of the episodes from the Purple Elephant Show this past weekend, I discussed Laura Loomer, I discussed Steve Bannon, and what else did I discuss? I discussed something else, and I don't even remember what it is because I don't have my show stuff in front of me. But, sports, politics and sports. That's what I discussed. I discussed that people don't want politics and the things they love. So I discussed that this past weekend too. So if you want to check out those episodes, feel free to do so on the podcast, thepurpleelephantshow.com. If you just want to listen, I did put up 2 videos, the Laura Loomer video and the politics and sports video. I did put those up. The Steve Bannon episode, that one was a podcast only episode, so it's exclusive to the podcast. So you have to go to thepurpleelephantshow.com or listen to it on Spotify or Apple or Google or whatever other podcasting platforms this show is on. It's an international show. And speaking of international, for all the people who have been listening to the podcast in different countries and watching, I appreciate you. And for those who have been watching and supporting, of course, from the United States, my country, I appreciate you as well. I love you. Be blessed.